Dallas, what's up, man?
Big Mike.
Listen, we're in here again, man, talking about sports favorites.
Yeah, this is something you said you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely.
It piqued my interest. I think this can go in a lot of different directions. I'm curious to where you're going with this, though.
Man, for me, I believe, obviously, fan is short for fanatic. I think as sports fans, we all are really passionate, period, about a sports team, a player, a moment, whatever. For me, the question I'm asking is, what are some of your favorite sports moments? And the other people out there, other listeners, what are some things that got you really engaged in the sports? What made you start loving sports? Why do you love sports? What's your favorite sport? What are some of your favorite players, teams, moments, whatever?
Okay, I'm tracking.
So there's just a lot there. And that's kind of what I wanted to engage with, man. As we're sitting here watching some of the best dunks in dunk contest history. Looking right now at Vince Carter.
The undisputed best dunk of all time. The reverse 360 windmill.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay, Mike, let's stay on topic here.
What's up?
It's interesting. Because you said your favorite sports moment.
Yeah.
And what's kind of made you fall in love with the sport?
Man.
That's a lot. This can get deep. So kind of give me your first thing. Let's start with basketball.
Okay.
Let's talk basketball.
Basketball, man. I've played basketball my whole life, man. I've loved it since I was a kid. I had an older brother, and the older brother had really good friends. Shout out to Brandon Barres, my guy. So I would see them playing sports, playing basketball, playing football, and basketball specifically. I just used to work on basketball all the time, man, and watching some of my favorite teams, man. I became a Knicks fan just watching the Knicks and watching the level of physicality. That's something that was instilled in me from my older brother and his friends. You know, you have to be physical. You have to be tough. And the 93, 94 Knicks were the most physical, tough team I've ever seen. And so I kind of embodied that with my style of play, and that's something I champion and something
scrappy.
I really value.
You like scrappy basketball.
Physical. You got to be tough, man. Toughness matters.
And you just don't see that. I don't want to be that guy because basketball's great. Always has been great. But sure. I grew up, in that late 90s, early 2000s basketball. It was scrappier.
Yeah, more physical.
It was more physical.
Yeah.
Now, I like the finesse that the game is going to. Not as much as I like, prior years.
Right.
But okay, yeah, I love scrappy basketball. There was nothing growing up I liked more than just getting into a pickup game or a real game, and it's just both teams wanted to win. Like they hated each other.
Right, man. That's the type of players I've liked, man. My favorite, since we're on basketball, my favorite player ever, Kevin Garnett. That's my guy.
Mine too.
My favorite player ever, man. Just the intensity, the defense, him really getting after you and just not caring about the opponent and hating the opponent. Is this it? That was the Iguodala one. Yeah, we're sitting there watching we're watching the biggest robbery ever. Andre Iguodala in the 2004 slam dunk contest.
I don't know. I don't love that one.
Dunk from behind the backboard.
Yeah, but
all right, people at home, we're watching Andre Iguodala caught a lob from VA 757 from behind the backboard, ducked under the backboard, dunked it, and did not win.
That year wasn't a whole lot of Jason Richardson. Jason Richardson was crazy. All right, I stayed on topic.
That's another thing with the dunk contest. The 2-foot jumpers are the ones like the Sean Kemps, the Jason Richardson. The guys jump off a 2. Dominique Wilkins, primarily jumping off a 2, just so much more power with it. And that's really what I like in a dunk.
I was a 2-foot dunker for the most part.
Got you.
Yeah, I was.
Dallas.
Cue the clip.
Let's go, Dallas.
I got another one. Cue another one. Okay, so that's weird. Yeah, I did not know Kevin Garnett was your favorite player.
My favorite basketball player ever, man.
I remember you. Tell me if you remember this or not.
What's up?
So Kevin Garnett, Minnesota. The old jerseys where they have a tree line on the collar. Man. So it was on a ESPN magazine, not Sports Illustrated. We couldn't afford Sports Illustrated. ESPN magazine. It was like him and it was a Got Milk brand. Remember that when the Got Milk thing was everywhere?
Yeah.
And it was him, and it was like a forest or a city behind him. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
Got you.
But that made me just like love Kevin Garnett.
Man.
I loved Kevin Garnett.
I just love his journey. I love the intensity he played with, and that he took everything personal on the court, and he just let all the intensity he played with, man, just the passion.
Yeah.
The skill set was radical too, just aside from his approach, just the skill set from Kevin Garnett being that size, having that versatility, and then the loyalty he showed staying in Minnesota through all of that, through the BS leadership. You know what I mean? It's a family show, so we're gonna keep it light, man. But yeah, shout out to Kevin Garnett, man. That's my guy. What about you? What made you start loving basketball?
We actually just talked a little bit about it. I grew up, I was the youngest sibling by far. All my older siblings played basketball, so I just grew up chasing around them. You know, always just kind of getting beat on. And I became obsessed. It's where my competitive nature came from. I had to beat all the older kids. I remember watching early on, you know, my older brothers play, walking into a gym and hearing the echo of a ball.
Yeah, man.
Smelling popcorn, hearing the buzzer just ring. I love that sound. I always loved it. But when I fell in love with basketball was the slam dunk contest when Vince Carter did this and just watching the arena blow up.
2000, yeah, man. I've never seen reactions like that. Obviously, I was a kid at that time, man, but just next day at church, every single doorway, we're dunking the best we can, trying to reenact the Vince Carter thing. And I think that's what it's all about.
I became obsessed with it.
I think that's what being a major fan is about, man. Just having those moments.
Yeah.
Tapping into that nostalgia, man. That's what I want to talk about today, man.
Yeah.
So as far as basketball, that's my favorite player ever. My favorite team, obviously, the Knicks. My favorite Knicks team, probably that 93, 94 Knicks team, just because of the physicality, the Anthony Masons, the Charles Oakleys, obviously Patrick Ewing, John Starks, like just that style of basketball is what I love, man. So any team that follows in that same blueprint, man, I'm all for it.
Tell me a basketball name that I haven't heard in a long time. You don't got to give me anything about it. Just tell me a name that no one's heard in a long time.
That no one has heard in a long time. Speaking of Minnesota, Tom Gugliotta.
Oh,
speaking of my man Kevin Garnett, man.
Deep pull.
Minnesota was given the help Kevin Garnett received was guys like Tom Gugliotta. Detlef Schrempf.
Detlef Schrempf. Dang it. That was my guy.
That's a phenomenal name drop, man.
Dang it. Brent Barry. Remember Brent Barry?
Shout out to Brent Barry. We got Seattle on the screen. We got Desmond Mason. With Oklahoma State, your favorite. You know? So,
little brother.
We got the Seattle. Listen, we'll get into that on another pod, man. Shout out to Seattle, man. We need to get a franchise back in Seattle. Shout out to Rick Smits. Oh, that's Spud Webb. We're looking at the dunk contest right now. Just some of the best dunks ever in the dunk contest. Looking at Spud Webb standing at, what was he, like 5'2"?
I think he was a little taller than that. I think the shortest was Muggsy Bogues. And Muggsy Bogues was 5'2", I believe.
Crazy.
I think Spud was 5'6".
Was he?
This is a hot take. I hated the old Suns. I hated this team. Amari Stoudemire.
Well, they were a lot like OU because they didn't play any defense, man. They were all offense, and they never won a championship either. So I see the parallels there, man. My bad.
Sean Marion.
The Matrix. Yeah.
The team was just hateable.
Yeah, they were. Mike D'Antoni, man. Just playing that style.
Okay.
Look at me. So what about, you're talking about basketball. What is your favorite sport overall?
Right now, my favorite sport as an adult is football.
Yeah.
Football has just, we were talking about this before the podcast started. It's taken over. It's America's pastime. We all love football. On Saturdays, what are people doing? They're watching football. On Sundays, what are people doing?
4 days a week, man.
Monday, watching football.
Thursday.
Yeah. I mean, football is my favorite. I love it. And a lot of that's because of fantasy. Fantasy just, it really made my love for football just blew up to an obsession.
If you're not playing fantasy football and you're a football fan, just try it. Once you start, you will never stop playing fantasy football.
And we challenge everybody to fantasy football. If you want the smoke, come get it.
Yeah. Invite us, man. We'll join. No limit, man.
All right. So, Mike, I've heard you talk about football. I've heard you talk about basketball. Let's finish on football. I think that's our favorite, both of our favorites, if I can speak for you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Baseball. That's something I've heard you talk about.
Baseball. I became a baseball fan in 1995. Cleveland Indians. That's when I first started watching baseball. They had a phenomenal team. The Kenny Loftons, Albert Bells, young Manny Ramirez, Sandy Alomar Jr. That team, Jose Mesa closing stuff, Jim Tillman. That team was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And that's when I started liking baseball, and by default I became an Indians fan in '95, man.
Okay.
Won 100 games, lost the World Series to the Braves. Don't want to talk about it, but as soon as at home, what are some of your favorite? Comment with some of your favorite sports moments, sports teams. What got you loving sports? What is your favorite sport? Any of your sports favorites, man. We all consume sports at different ways. What makes you love sports? So we'd love to have your comments and just give us some feedback, man.
All right, so 1999.
Okay.
I grew up with like the Bay kids and the Shady 580. And we would play kind of like the Sandlot style baseball.
Oh, wow.
We would just play out in the fields and the alleys, throw rocks.
Got you.
But this one kid, I remember his name. His name was Wayne, dude. Y'all probably are all too old for this. But Mark McGuire had a blue Nerf bat. It was called the Vortex. and the end of it was like a bubble, like an air bubble.
Got you.
You remember this?
Yeah.
Okay, he had that. Ah, man, I wanted one of those so bad. But this made me fall in love with, like, the home run race of, like, 99.
Yeah.
Where
Sosa, McGuire.
Well, it was Ken Griffey first, and then, because Ken Griffey came out junior, was actually the odds-on favorite that year.
Best swing ever.
McGuire, yep. Mark McGuire was number 2. Sammy Sosa kind of came out of nowhere at that point, and then made a name for himself.
Dog, you know how much fun that was?
That was so fun.
And you're just keeping up with it every day. You're going back and you're checking there. Who had a home run yesterday?
At that time, and it could be different, but baseball players at that point were much more like a household name they are now.
Yeah.
That 2000 home run derby, though, it was Sammy Sosa, Mark McGuire, Ken Griffey Jr., Nomar Garcia Parra. I probably haven't heard that name in a while.
Nomar.
Yeah, that was just... I loved baseball. I loved the Knights. The movie Sandlot, you know.
Oh, yeah. Best baseball movie ever, man.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Baseball, I haven't been as excited about it since that time frame. I always keep up with now Guardians. But baseball is just not as exciting, man. I like the rule changes that they have. It's really sped the game up, but it's just not the same as it was, man.
I love the pitch clock. My favorite player of all time, the Houston Astros, Jeff Bagwell.
Jeff Bagwell. Bag's your favorite player?
I love Jeff Bagwell, man.
I don't know if I had a favorite player. I don't know. I like young Manny Ramirez a lot, man.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, man. Man, baseball, it's just so different because I'm not as passionate about it, so I don't know. I just don't really spend the time, man.
I got you. All right, let's get to our kind of what we like. Let's get to football.
Listen. One more.
Okay.
Listen, my favorite baseball moment of recent, Jose Bautista, I think it was game 6, where he blasted the home run. They had the crazy 7th inning. I was watching it at home.
Joey Bats.
And he had the crazy bat flip where he hit it and he just chucked his bat, and that was the loudest I've seen a stadium. And it was obviously through the TV. It was the most pandemonium I've seen. Man,
the one that challenges it. I forgot what year it was, but Bryce Harper for the Phillies, he hit a walk-off grand slam, bottom of the nut, yeah, to the second deck, and that ball was crushed.
Dog, yeah, man, that Jose Bautista bat flip heard around the world. It was game 5. I see it now. But yeah, that was my big time Cleveland. Formerly Indians, currently Guardians, Jose Bautista bat flip. Baseball is not what it used to be, man, but I think it's heading in the right direction as far as them trying to make changes that make it more fun, more consumable.
Yeah, I got you.
Look at DeRozan, man.
So let's go to football.
Oh, man. Football. Who are your favorite football teams, man, college and pro?
God, I wake up every morning and I thank God for putting me here in Oklahoma. Great Oklahoma Sooners. And just, unfortunately, I got to cross the state line, but right on the other side of the state line is America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. Best franchise in all of sports.
Disgusting.
I love the Dallas Cowboys.
What do you love about the Dallas Cowboys, man?
So, we talked about this a little bit. I mean, this is a core memory, one of my very first memories. I remember sitting on the floor and I was watching the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Last week.
Yep. And I remember I had to turn the TV off. I had to change the channel because the Cowboys were playing in the Super Bowl.
There you go.
And just not, at the time, not know anything about it. I was 4 years old.
Man. But
just remember watching Emmitt Smith and just listen to everyone talk about how great this guy was. From then on, I was a diehard Cowboys fan. But I was still so young. The year that I started to love football, like really love it, was 2000. So this whole year was a big year for me.
Okay.
Started off the year, Oklahoma won the national championship.
Yeah.
Oh, that had to be a long time.
The year was 2000. Oklahoma Sooners won the national championship.
All right.
Just seeing the people around me, just how excited, how much joy it brought to this state. That was huge for us. Oklahoma, we don't have a lot.
Facts.
So winning a national championship and the support that OU has it's unlike, I think, any other.
Okay. OU definitely has a passionate fan base.
So that triggered me.
Okay.
After that, this movie called The Replacements came out. Keanu Reeves.
Shane Falco.
The best movie quarterback of all time. Shane Falco.
That's a lot to say, man.
I'm taking Shane Falco as my fantasy movie quarterback.
Favorite fictional quarterback ever. Huh.
I love that movie. Is so good. It was perfect.
Is that your favorite football movie ever?
No, it's not.
My favorite, Friday Night Lights, by the way. That's easily. Well, I can't say easily. Friday Night Lights or The Program, 2 favorite football movies ever, man.
Okay. I love that movie so much. It was hilarious. Had good football moments too. Like it was like the football action in that movie's great.
It was a good time, man.
I think that Remember the Titans is the best football movie of all time. Best sports movie of all time. So those 3 things happened that year. I was hooked. Football was cemented. I thought was just such a part of life.
Yeah.
From those events. I've loved it ever since.
Yeah, football is king for sure, man. It's just so exciting, man. I love it. We've played it. My son's getting into it now, man. I love it so much, man.
What's the best sports movie of all time?
Yeah, people at home,
please tell me.
Please listen. We'll put a poll up or whatever. What are some of your favorite? I know you like the Cowboys. You like OU. Are there any teams that you've really liked over the years, like specific years, specific teams that are some of your favorites? Like for me, I'm a Georgia Bulldogs fan, Raiders fan, always. But the 03 Kansas State Wildcats, I love that team so much, man. It's not just because of what they did to OU. And it wasn't an OU thing. A lot of people think I'm an OU hater. I'm not, man. I'm just OU realist. But that team went in as an underdog to OU, who everyone had just running through them, and they beat the hell out of them in Kansas City, in the cold. Darren Sproles, L. Roberson, James Terry, Terrence Newman was on that team. That team was phenomenal, man.
That's the first football game. I think it's the first sporting event that like really affected me. Like that ruined me because OU was just on a tear that year.
Yeah,
rolling through people. And I remember playing Kansas State. Like, we're gonna kill Kansas State. They're nothing. And getting beat like we did that game.
Oh, I loved it.
We got beat bad.
Bill Snyder, man.
Yeah, Bill Snyder's one of the GOATs.
Oh yeah. And because he inherited Kansas State when it was literally the worst program in college football, period, like bar none.
Yep.
And then to do what he did with that play, and he didn't have supreme talent, but he could develop talent, and he had toughness. That team was one of my all-time favorite, outside of my favorite teams ever. Another one, 2005 Fresno State Bulldogs. They're famous for Reggie Bush going crazy against them, but they almost beat USC that year, man. With the fighting Pat Hills, play anybody anywhere. I love that mindset. I adopt that mindset, man. So that's some of my favorite teams ever. What about you, man?
I love the early 2000s San Diego Chargers.
Okay.
Watching LaDainian Tomlinson, he was one of the first players I was just like, dude, this dude is better than everybody else on the field.
No, he was crazy.
The face of the dark visor, I thought that was the coolest stuff I've ever seen.
Dog, they had the most talent for a team that just never won. The Chargers always were loaded and just couldn't put it together. That was crazy, man. Antonio Gates, like they transitioned into Merriman in the mid 2000s.
Yep.
Like they had so much talent, they just couldn't put it. They couldn't finish, man. Vincent
One of my
Jackson.
favorite games. You're probably to help me out here.
What's up?
Darren McFadden, Arkansas.
Woo!
I think it was at LSU.
LSU? No, it was at Arkansas. It was 2000. Well, they beat LSU in 07. And then they had them at home in 06, and they barely lost because Trenton Holiday had the big plays and returns against them.
So it was the first time I remember watching the Wildcat offense.
Oh my gosh. That was the LSU one.
That was
crazy.
so crazy.
Dog, I saw him in the 06 game just go straight up the gut, just outrunning LeBron Landry and just outrunning the whole defense, just keeping them in the game. Darren McFadden in college was off the charts, man.
He was so good.
Like just the nostalgia, just thinking back to the feeling that you got watching someone at that level, like crazy, man. We've been able to see a lot of like crazy talented running backs.
Yeah.
Another one, you're a big OU fan, Adrian Peterson. First time you watch Adrian Peterson, I know you're like, what is this?
The GOAT. The college football GOAT.
I'd say he's the most physically gifted college running back ever.
Well, if you're saying physically gifted, I think he's the most physically gifted running back of all time, NFL, college combined.
Whoa, Bo Jackson, hello.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Adrian Peterson is phenomenal.
So you have the choice between a prime Bo and a prime Adrian Peterson?
Whoa, we're talking about, fellas, we need help. We need help from, I'm sorry to interrupt y'all, man. Best athlete, when the word athlete comes up, who comes to mind? Adrian Peterson or Bo Jackson?
Adrian Peterson is the greatest athlete of all time.
Okay.
No doubt, it's Adrian Peterson.
Woo!
And I'm not an OU fan.
Over Bo Jackson.
Shits about OU. Adrian Peterson.
Is that due to you being exposed to Adrian Peterson more than Bo Jackson?
No. When I first was exposed, I didn't even live in Oklahoma. It was just his sheer speed, agility.
For sure.
If I were to just take these measures of I want to send somebody out into an athletic competition.
Yeah.
Adrian Peterson, hands down, is tops. His speed, his agility, his strength.
Man.
It's unmatched.
I'm sorry. Adrian Peterson was, I just haven't had that feeling maybe ever, just watching someone as a freshman come in and immediately be elite.
Oh,
and immediately be the best athlete on the field.
And he got absolutely robbed for the Heisman, too.
Who won the Heisman? Was that the Troy Smith Heisman? Was that 06? What year?
Can you look up what year? Adrian Peterson's rookie year or freshman year?
I thought
who
he
won
was
the Heisman?
2005. I thought Troy Smith.
His freshman year at OU?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. I don't know, Adrian Peterson. I just remember him stepping in. What was it, UTEP? Y'all were playing maybe Bowling Green. I want to say his first game, and I was just like, this dude is ridiculous.
Okay.
100%.
So we got Bo Jackson, prime time. Adrian Peterson. Who do you think's best athlete?
Bo Jackson.
Guys.
And when it comes to your definition of an athlete, everyone's going to have a different definition. Everyone defines that a little differently. For me, it's a combination of speed, relatively speaking, strength or power, relatively speaking, and ability to change, agility, ability to change direction. That combination of factors give me Bo Jackson.
I'm going to set the stage.
Best athlete ever. What your criteria is for an athlete, and we've talked about this. You know.
I'm going to set the stage. We have all the best athletes of all time in front of us, okay? They're standing on the line. They're all in their prime.
Dog, if you say Baker Mayfield, I'm going to lose my mind.
He should be. I'm not saying he's the one, but I think he's in the conversation. Moving on. We don't know what sport they're going to play, okay?
Okay.
You have to pick. You have all of them. You have a choice. To tell me you're not picking the 6'8" LeBron James as the best athlete of all time.
Yeah, he's in that discussion.
He
for
has
sure.
all those things you're talking about. Size, speed, strength. You know what Deion Sanders doesn't have? You know what Bo Jackson doesn't have? You know what Adrian Peterson doesn't have? They aren't 6'8".
I don't think you can punish them for not being
you can.
as tall.
The fact it's reality. It's kind of a touchy subject right now. Could the NBA go in the NFL and play? Yeah. Some of them could.
NBA to NFL, yeah. You see Antonio Gates and guys like that go and have success.
The players, I think, the best athletes, and I'm not saying just their skill or their God-given talent. I'm saying that plus the God-given gifts that they were given at their size makes them the best athletes in the world.
I disagree.
Well, you're wrong. If you had your option, like NCAA 25, you get to build your character. Are you going to build a Deion Sanders, or are you going to build a LeBron James?
I think you build a Bo Jackson.
No,
right?
you build a LeBron James.
I think you got to give credit. I think what we're seeing is I feel like you're discrediting people that have played professionally multiple sports.
No.
Because I don't think you're giving them credit.
I think that y'all are not taking into account. So there's time between the era of sports you're talking of and the era of sports I'm talking about. Okay, the money drastically changed. The name LeBron James isn't always referring to the basketball player. It's referring to the business of LeBron James. Okay, there's so much money behind him. He could not afford his endorsers, his Nike. They will not let him play football. He is too valuable in the world of basketball. He was the #1 player in high school. You know, he had cameras following him since the age of 7th grade. Okay, this guy had the biggest lights always shine on him. Has so much pressure more than anybody else, and he has never let it down. He's never had any issues. He's only gotten better. This dude is 10 years older than me, and he's still doing it in the NBA. He could still be the best player in the NBA right now.
I think that's tangent to the point, though. And I feel everything you said I agree 110%, but I feel like that's tangent to the point. We're talking about just as athletes, and I think that we're discounting people that play professionally multiple sports professionally at a high level.
LeBron, given the chance, I get what you're saying.
It's supposition.
Or I'm saying if a lot.
Yeah.
But in your gut,
what about Jordan? What about Michael Jordan?
No, he's not. Best basketball of all time. Best.
Michael Jordan was an incredible
best
athlete
sports
as well.
figure. He was a great athlete, but everyone's gut. You're saying what you're saying. I know, but you're like, shit. If LeBron did play that stuff, he could do it. There's a reason you think that because your eyes don't lie to you.
What about the combat sports athletes? What about guys like that? What about the wrestlers? Because I feel like wrestling. All right, for me, my personal definition of athleticism, what comes to mind: power or strength at some level, speed, and agility or ability to move quickly. I feel like the wrestling may encompass the most of those three.
That's my dream job.
What?
A professional wrestler? That's my dream job.
Being a professional wrestler?
Yeah.
We're not talking. Shout out to
wrestling?
professional. Listen, dog, when I was like 12, you couldn't tell me I wouldn't love wrestling forever. I used to watch the family show Out of Wrestling. I watch wrestling all the time. Yeah. But I think those guys are athletic, maybe enhanced, whatever. But they don't really enter the discussion. I'm talking about actual like wrestlers, like true athletes. Like
I think that they are the most. Sports they are insane. The athletes in wrestling, specific like collegiate wrestling, high school wrestling in the state of Oklahoma. Some of the best athletes I've ever seen in wrestling. Just in condition, like strength.
Yeah.
They don't always have the insane. They have some crazy physiques, but. Yeah, I have so much respect for wrestlers. That's such a hard sport. Like a challenging sport.
Oh my gosh,
I think probably the most challenging. That and gymnastics are very challenging sports.
I got to give it up. My man Kyle Walker. Listen, good friend of mine, Kyle Walker. He's taught me so much about wrestling. He got me actually watching collegiate wrestling, and I've learned so much from him. And just watching, I have so much respect for college wrestlers, man, or just wrestlers in general, man. And I think that has to be part of this equation too, man. People like beyond obviously football and basketball come to mind, probably the most popular sports for us. But there are some phenomenal wrestlers, man.
There are. I can't think of any of them that I would say are the best athletes if I had to pick, though.
It's just that sport requires so much athleticism by my definition.
It does.
You know what I mean? And then the endurance. I think if I had to edit it, I'm going to edit it. I know I said ability to move quickly. Speed in whatever capacity, strength in whatever capacity, and endurance. Endurance as well, like
the endurance.
And wrestling, that you have to have. I think wrestling requires the highest level of those three.
The conditioning, yeah.
Oh my gosh, man, the endurance to keep.
But yeah, back to I was raised by Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Dog,
via television screen.
Dog, pro wrestling was, and I don't know when I stopped watching it, man. I remember like DX, NWO. I remember watching it Monday Night Raw and for like SmackDown, I think. And I was just so into it. And then one day it just stopped. And I was like, man, I guess I outgrew it, whatever. But the best athlete discussion, maybe that's something for another pod, man.
I want to hear everyone's thoughts on the LeBron James thing.
And so you're saying, just so we're clear, you're saying LeBron is the best athlete of all time?
If I had to pick a player.
To be the best athlete?
Yeah.
You're saying LeBron. Where is Jordan for you? Because I feel like Jordan's the
GOAT. Sports figure, I think he's kind of untouched.
Yeah, he transcended the sport, yeah.
Yeah, he transcended not just sport, the whole culture. He is pop culture just about. He's sports pop culture.
100%.
He's down the list a ways.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Dog, I think you're sleeping on how incredible an athlete
he's great.
Jordan
he was an insane
man.
athlete.
Oh, my gosh,
I think
man. Bo Jackson comes to mind for me as far as athlete. When I think of athlete, I think of Bo Jackson. Just speed, strength, endurance. Dog, Bo Jackson did some things physically that other people just will never be able, we haven't seen before.
His 20 for 20, I think, is the best 20 for 20.
30 for 30.
30 for 30. 20
remix.
For 20.
Remix. This is the remix.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
I think that's it. I think we talked it.
Yeah, man. Just people at home, man, please interact with the pod. Just tell us some of your favorite sports moments, favorite athletes, favorite teams, favorite whatever, man. Sports is just we just love sports so much, man. It's such a good platform to just express your excitement and just follow a team, follow a player, follow a coach, whatever, man. Just please interact with the pod. Yeah, let us know what drew you to sports, man.
All fans are welcome except for the Eagles fans. Go back to the trailer park.
Salute the Eagles, man. UGA North, man.
All right. Any closing thoughts?
Go Dogs. Bo Jackson, best athlete ever, man.
That's it.
We'll appreciate you guys, man. Horse in the house.